Hi, everyone, and welcome to Hire Certified, Promoting Industry Certification Earners to Employers. My name is Kimberly, and I am with iCEV, and we're so excited to have you all here with us today. We have 4 different panelists here with us, but I think will bring a lot of value and expertise to this session, so I'm going to let them go ahead and introduce themselves. Toybi, if you want to go ahead and get us started off.
Hi, everyone. My name is Toybi Rublaitis. I am the first year principal at Corona Norco Adult School. We serve adult students in the community, and our career technical education courses actually just began a year ago. And we have 3 career technical education pathways. And of the 3, one is business and finance, and that's where we started using the industry certification, business office technology certification. We also use accounting principles from iCEV, and the other 2 are child development and skilled trades technician pathways.
Awesome. Well, we're glad you're here, Toybi. Mario, you also teach at Corona, so do you want to go next?
Sure. Hello, my name is Mario Zapata, and I'm a CTE teacher at the Corona Norco School District's Adult Education School. And the course that I teach is the Business Office, Professional Business Office Technology Certification.
Great. Tina, why don't you tell us a little bit about your program?
Okay, my name is Tina Walls, and I am a CTE teacher and also the department chairperson. I teach the business classes in animation and other technical classes, but the certification that I teach is the Business Office Technology certification, and I've been doing that for 3 years, and it's been very successful. So, but we do have the animal science classes and the health science classes this year that we're starting. So we're very excited about that.
That's great.
And also, the last 2 years, we have offered the professional communications certification. And about over 100 students have been certified in that program as well.
That's
so
fantastic.
Really awesome.
Wendy, you want to close us off?
Sure. My name is Wendy Pollock. I teach at Pathways Innovation Center in Casper, Wyoming, and I am the ag teacher, and I teach the veterinary science and horticulture classes at that facility. Within the veterinary science class, I use the Elanco Veterinary Medical Applications certification through iCEV. And we are also looking at instituting the quality assurance certifications as well through that. In the horticulture program, we offer the Wyoming pesticide applicators license, and we also offer the Ben's School Floral Design certification through iCEV, as well as the plant science certification.
That's fantastic.
So, yeah, so we're trying to expand out with our program and reach as many different areas as we can.
Yeah. So, why, we always, want to know why do you choose to include industry certifications in your courses? So Tina, do you want to speak to the value of industry certifications, why you decided to start implementing them in your courses?
Sure. I was approached by one of the reps, and then after I saw how valuable it is, it's just a stepping stone for the next level that the students can get a leg up on either college entrance or to start a resume or build a career. So I think it's very important. It just makes you more marketable. The more certificates you get, it's putting more feathers in your hat.
Yeah.
So I think it's very important, and it's a win-win situation for the students.
Yeah, definitely. Wendy, you guys offer so many different certifications. So tell us why your program has chosen to offer such a variety of certification opportunities.
So when we built our Pathways Innovation Center, the school itself has many different areas where we offer a lot more certifications rather than just the ones I do with ag. Part of our building philosophy when we put it together 4 years ago was that we wanted kids to have a leg up in the industries that they were looking at having careers in. And so we wanted to build in certifications within our programs, within every program that we offered at the facility. So the reason that I have several in my area is the approach we took when we were building these classes. We wanted kids to choose areas that they were truly interested in. So with my horticulture class, I do everything from greenhouse management to landscape design to floral design. And within that, the kids can specialize with what they want to do. And that allows them to do the different certifications. And they can choose the one that truly fits their soul, or they can do multiples if they prefer.
That's awesome. So Mario, Toybi, you guys have a little bit of a different perspective because you work in adult ed. So do you want to tell us about offering industry certifications to adult learners rather than secondary learners?
You want to go first, Toby? Or well, I can say that the reason we chose this particular product is because of the variety of resources. You know that there's different styles of learning, and it seems like it covers them all. You have videos, you have PowerPoint presentations, you have the ability to use it for lectures as well. There's projects that can be assigned as homework. There's activities, so it uses all of these resources, so that's good. And we've had English learners as part of our audience, and it's been very successful with them as well. I mean, so far we've had 100% certification of the ones who have taken the test, so that's pretty encouraging.
Yeah.
And of course, these are people who are either coming back into the workforce, or some of them just want to be able to talk to their kids and understand what the technology terms are. And if they are applying for a job, I think just having the education, having been hiring people before, you know, if you see the education in there, it kind of puts them ahead of the line. So that's my input on that.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Mark. So I wanted to share that at our school, like I said, we started the career technical education program just a year and a half or 2 years ago. And Mario, being a person who was a business executive in the local community, has been a very advantageous addition to our organization, our school. And when we took the career technical education classes, what we were struggling was what kind of courses that we bring to the school that will serve the community. So looking at the labor management information, we learned that soft skills is one of those big needs, and computer basic skills is another need. And for the kind of community that we serve, it was more cost effective for a student to get a business office technology certification as opposed to the Microsoft certification, but they were getting the same skills. And so it was a win-win for our students and for the school that does not have a lot of resources. So the other reason that Mario mentioned is about our learner population. We have a huge, our school so far have had about 60 to 70% of our students. We serve about 3,500 students a year. And out of that, about 60% of them were English language learners, you know, people who have immigrated to this country recently. And for them, learning English, and then in the past, it's always been like you wait to get technical certification till you get advanced English. But here, what we have started doing is getting students to be in an EL class and in a technical class, and together when they are by the time they get advanced ESL, they also come out off with another certification, and that's how we have been serving our students.
That's awesome. And you spoke about something that I want to come back to. You said you looked at what your local community needs, what the industries in your area needed. So how now, you've had such success in your program certifying students. So how do you promote and advocate for those students to help them find employment in your area?
So when we started our career technical education program, we've been very fortunate. We got a huge grant with which we could start a career and college and career center. And at the center, we have two professionals. One is the career navigator, and another one is a job developer. So the career navigator is the one who would provide students the career exploration option, which also we have used from iCEV. And this year we are planning to even add that certification on the career exploration certification, because that's the first step. Because when a person comes to a new country and trying to adapt to the new country, they come with a lot of skills. However, they're still not aware where to use those skills here in the new country. So a career navigator helps them to assess what they come with, and then what they're good at, and then guide them to one of the pathways that we have. And so the other thing is the labor management information that we get really tells us the need in this region. And what we have learned is there's a huge demand for office professionals, just basic help in the office, and the business office technology certification really helps our students. The other thing is being non-English speakers who came to the country, that professional communication skill is something that most of our students seem to be lacking. And so we also had the professional communication certification, the Southwest industry recognized certification that you provided through iCEV. And so that one too, so far people do not understand the need for it, but the way we are marketing it and showing to the community, those are the things we are providing and why we need them. And then the third part I was going to say is we partnered with the Express Express Employment Professionals here in Riverside. And so we've signed a memorandum of understanding with them for 3 years, whereby whenever we get our student certified, we refer them to Express Professionals. And I know at least 4 of our students got a job through that.
That's fantastic. So on the secondary side, Wendy and Tina, you guys have a little different perspective because you're working with high school students. So how do you encourage your certification earners to use those knowledge and skills that they've gained and use them to find employment in your local communities?
So
I have one student a few years ago, right after she passed the certification exam, she built a resume, listed it on the resume, and applied for a summer job. And there were tons of students that applied for the job, and there were very few positions available, and she got the job. So she was very excited, and she feels that her certification won her the job. So then she came back the next year. She was a junior at the time. And even with the confidence that the certification gave her, she was able to help her fellow students and also her teachers in some of the computer aspects. Whenever the teachers needed help, she was able to help them. And so she came back and was glad that she took the certification exam.
That's fantastic. Wendy, what have you guys done in your program?
Well, so with the veterinary science, we have quite a few vets here in our town, and they are constantly looking for people to do kennel tech, help out in the office, that kind of stuff. And so I do a careers unit with my kids, and part of that careers unit is the kids have to do mock interviews, and I try to bring in those representatives from the vet clinics to work with the kids on interviews so that the kids kind of get a feel for the veterinary clinics in our town. But I also encourage them to go out and talk to these people as well. And I've had several kids who have come back to me and said, Miss Pollock, I got my job at the clinic they were looking at because of their certification, because we had that connection. And anytime that jobs are posted in any of those clinics, I refer that on to our kids as well, to encourage them, say, hey, here's a place where you can use that certification, what you learned in vet class. As far as like the horticulture goes with the pesticide applicator's license, the kids can't take that till they're 18, which is kind of a downfall. But we live in a very, very rural area. Our state has less than 500,000 people. So we have lots of rangeland and lots of areas for our kids that when they get out of high school, if they have that pesticide applicator's license, they can go work for Weed and Pest or many of our entities, landscape entities or other here in town, doing that application to help with the pest control with all of our rangelands. And it's a great way to pay your way through college. And the kids, I push the money aspect of it, that you have this, you can make some really good money with it.
Money talks, right?
It does.
So Mario, you bring a unique perspective in that you have come from business. You're actually still in the business world yourself. So how do you, what tips and tricks do you give to your students, your learners, to help them use those certifications to go and get jobs?
Well, actually, you use the right term, tips and tricks. I try to incorporate my knowledge into every class. So in addition to going through the material, I use the board a lot. So I'm kind of hard to describe exactly which one, but even going into what the components of a computer are. And then since we have a lab where everybody has a system, I take the time and actually open a computer there in front of them and go through all the components and explain them. So again, whenever it applies to whatever we are talking about in that particular class, I try to introduce some of my knowledge. And another advantage is also, and I invited Toby to mine. I'm a member of the Rotary Club. So that's a good resource to present to the Rotary Club because they're all business owners. And the response was fantastic because they really didn't understand the reach of the adult education program in that sense, in preparing people to go back into the labor market. And Toby has been making the rounds in not just the Rotary, but other clubs as well. And I believe the Corona the Corona Chamber of Commerce as well.
Yeah, so we're almost out of time, but before we go, I do want to have each of you offer one piece of advice that you would give to an educator to help them promote their industry certification earners. So Tina, what would you tell someone to encourage them to help their certification earners find work?
Well, I think the program iCEV and the certification process is a must for today's world and for tomorrow's kids, because the world is traveling that way, and it's headed for a certification led industry, I think, and that's what they're looking for. And so that will give knowledge that the companies need and that the students need. And so I just think that it's healthy for everyone to get as many certifications as you can.
Yeah, Wendy, what would you say?
I would say take that information that shows what's involved in getting that certification. For instance, the stuff that iCEV puts out with, this is what is covered when we test the kids for this certification. Take that information, make relationships with the different entities in your community. Talk to those people who would be possible employers. Share with them what you're doing in class and invite them onto your advisory boards. Establish those relationships. That's the most important thing, I think.
Very much so. Toby, what advice would you give?
So just to piggyback on what Wendy said, I would say make as many partnerships with the local companies as possible and keep advertising what you're doing by, of course, including them in your decision-making processes.
Of course. Mario, close us off, sir.
Well, same thing here. I can tell you that all of my customers know that I also teach and what I teach, and that I prepare people to be potential employees of them. And as well as, again, the members of my Rotary Club. Every time I go golfing, those people know what I'm doing. And I mean, anytime that I'm in a position where I can speak about this, I do. So my advice is repeat yourself, tell everybody, make sure that everybody that has the potential to hire one of your students knows about it.
Yeah, well, thank you all for joining us. We'll be available for a Q&A. So please follow the link and join us there.